YouTubers, hello vinyl community. If I sound a bit hoarse, it's because I've been talking for 30 minutes trying to make this video, and the video program crashed and the movie was gone. So I'm going to do this bit by bit, check to see whether it works or not, and show one record at a time, and I will do it in a quick way. I haven't done any videos for some time. I've had a bit problems with stomach flu, but I've got hold of quite a lot of good records, but I'm not going to show all of them because that will be incredibly long and tedious, but I'm going to show you some of the more interesting findings. First, coming from the local charity shop for almost nothing, it's Lady in Satin by Billie Holiday. This was issued in 1958, but of course this is a later issue, a bit worn, alas. It has this familiar CBS Nice Prize sticker that was quite popular in the 80s on tape too, and we also had this home taping is killing music, so that says quite a lot. And we have this orange yellow label, so quite obvious, an issue from the early 80s. I think this was, when it was issued, it was her last album before she died. I think she died in 1959, so, and I have heard of this album many times. She's not in her best condition, obviously, but still, it's quite touching to listen to. Anyway, right, I showed these in the Facebook group before. Very fond of this young singer, Adele, and I love the new Bond movie, or rather the theme music, Skyfall. Great. I bought it on a vinyl single. This needs to be in all music lovers' collection. Over to another singer that I've been a fan of for a longer time, Norah Jones. I got hold of this live album, live from Austin, Texas, Austin City Limits, on New West Records quite recently, and quite cheaply. So, and it's a great live album. This is the weird Yardbirds issue, probably, well, some sort of bootleg, obviously, on the B13 label, or non-label, just as this little purple dot here in the middle. B13, I've been trying to find some information about them on the internet. It seems like it's an Italian company, but I'm not sure. It says here, we got Russian Cyrillic writing here, so this is, I think, is some sort of Russian issue, and it says limited edition, 500 copies, licensed by Wade Circle. So anyway, quite okay recordings. I mean, it's not the best sound quality, but definitely listenable. More and more exploring the symphonic prog. Been curious on the Nice for a long time, so I found this cheap compilation album, the greatest hits from 1977, on Immediate and Pi working together. I'm going through this quite quickly now because I've already done this video once. Sorry. Yeah. Finally, King Crimson Lizard. This is the 200-gram issue on panegyric, supervised and blessed by Mr. Fripp himself. The two earlier reissues, In the Court of Crimson King, and well, can't remember the name now of the other one. Never mind. I've got those two, and they are great albums. Superb music and really good reissue pressing. This is how they should be. And also it has a card with downloadable MP3 files. I'm not in need of those, so I might put up a little picture of it on Facebook. I don't know, for those who like to have it. Yeah, I'm really into Jethro Tull now, so I've started trying to get hold of their best albums. Well, this was mainly for fun. This Russian Melodia compilation album from 1977, with material from Living in the Past, Sweet Dream up until Minstrel in the Gallery, and it's quite good pressing. Yeah, then it comes to this bloody masterpiece, thick as a brick. I could do a whole video about this album. I was lucky to find a very good copy, not that expensive, with this newspaper, 12-page newspaper sleeve. And this is one of the best albums I've heard. Maybe not the best one, but one of the best. But I wonder if it's not the best sleeve I've ever seen, because I like sleeve with lots of information that you can really read through and learn a lot of and be entertained by. So this newspaper dressed up as a record sleeve, or record sleeve dressed up as a newspaper rather, is so great. It has the green chrysalis label, and I think that's, I'm not an expert on chrysalis, but I think that's how they looked during these years. But I wonder, I mean, this famous album must have been reissued several times. How did they reissue the sleeve? Did they make this whole sleeve for any nice price or whatever reissues, or did they just make a simpler version with the front and the back and leave it at that? I don't know. I'm sure the Discogs website could inform me about that, and I think I will check that out, because this must have, I mean, I heard an interview with Ian Anderson. He said that the sleeve took longer to make than the actual music, and I mean the music is a masterpiece. 43 minute long song, and it doesn't feel like that at all. It's marvelous. Yeah, well, I got hold of this too, Aqualung, that came before, thick as a brick. Also great sleeve, great music, a bit worn. The record is a bit too worn for my taste, but it'll have to do until I find something better. This is an issue on the Swedish Sonett label. I didn't know that Sonett issued the chrysalis material in Sweden in these early days. Was a bit surprised to find out that, but why not? Sonett has always been very active in issuing interesting foreign material in Sweden when it comes to blues, jazz, and prog. We're really taking this in the wrong order. This is Stand Up, also a Sonett issue. We have former owner who's written her name here. That's not very good, but still, never mind. The vinyl is in great condition here, but I think the funniest thing with this album, well, funniest, it's a great album, but this is a bit fun, I think. It's a 3D sleeve here, and I wonder if this was around in later reissues, later pressings. I get the idea that this must have been a bit tricky to keep to manufacture or whatever, but fun idea, fun old-fashioned idea. I mean, I've seen so many old children's books with these pop-up pictures or whatever they are called. So that's fun. Yeah. And also I got hold of this Jethro Tull. This was Jethro Tull. It's the first album. It's on Chrysalis and it's Canadian pressing. Okay, those were the best ones, and now I'm going to show you the rest ones. Well, got 3 albums with Candy Staton, one of my favorite singers from her disco era. Not too fond of that kind of style of music, but still, I like Candy Staton. Her voice makes most records very good. This is Nightlight from 1982, issued on Sugar Hill Records in United States. But this is a Swedish issue on the Sounds of Scandinavia label, the SOS. But you might like to see it. Was very active in the early 80s, late 70s. The first song I actually heard, and the first record I heard with Candy Staton, was her take on Suspicious Minds, and that one is included on this album. I found the single somewhere many years ago, and of course this very seductive image was used, but in black and white, for the sleeve of the single. So I thought, well, Suspicious Minds and this good-looking woman, well, why not? And she's been one of my favorite singers ever since. She's got so much passion in her voice. I really admire that. So now I got the album too. Right, then we have from 1979, Chance on Warner Brothers. She's still very good. She's still very good. Her last albums have been very good. This is just called Candy Staton. It's from 1980. Also on Warner Brothers. We have some jazz. Pablo, live Montreux 1977. Oscar Peterson Jam, Dizzy Gillespie, Clark Terry, Edith Luck, Joe Davis, Nils Henning Ørsted Persson, Bobby Durham from 1977. It's a live album. It's a West German, not German just, but West German pressing. Been wanting to have this album for a long time. Dion as in Dion DiMucci from Dion and the Belmonts, making his well, it's kind of a comeback album in 1989 called Joe Frankie, produced and arranged by Dave Edmunds. And this was, I think this got lots, or I seem to recall this getting lots of praise when it was issued in 1989. One reason why to have this in the collection, if nothing else, that it's I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know if I like it, but there's a good chance that I'll like it. We have lots of interesting guest artists. Well, Paul Simon, one of my heroes, is on this, and also Lou Reed and K.D. Lang and Bryan Adams, and of course Dave Edmunds. So very good group of musicians on this album. It's an Arista issue from 1989, American pressing. 2 albums with jazz violin legend Stéphane Grappelli, Le Disque d'Or on Barclay, recordings from 1956 and 57, but issued in 1979. Not very exciting issue, but I think the music is very good. Many famous songs. Then we have, oh, wrong way, on the MPS label, Afternoon in Paris from 1971. We have this, I couldn't resist this album. 2 jazz saxophone players, Jackie Kelso and Bill Hood, Dirty Old Men, on the Jazz Chronicles label. I think it's from it was recorded in the autumn of 1970, so I guess it's from there sometime. Let's see if you can focus the sleeve, rather childish sleeve, but still. I haven't listened to it yet, but I have an idea I would like it. 10 Sides of Ethel Ennis, a bit of a forgotten star. This is from 1973. It was issued on the BASF label. BASF, of course, mainly known for their great cassette tapes. It was my favorite brand of cassette tapes. When I used that format most of the time, I still use it, but not that much. And back in the days when I used to lots of recordings on cassette, when I wanted the sound to be very good, I used BASF. But they also worked as a record company in the 70s. I haven't listened to this yet, but this needs to be clean. It was a bit dirty, so I'll have to do that first. Some music from Africa. I don't know that much about this singer. Pierre de Musy, Na Voum Voum and Kalunka, and this is a French issue on the Africa Umba label. I think it's issued by Sonodisc. It's from 1981. I don't know how. I've been interested in African music ever since, well, Graceland with Paul Simon, and I've got maybe this big bunch with African albums, but not that many. So I was happy to find this and didn't pay much for it. Over to a jazz saxophone player that I don't know that much about, Courtney Pine, Journey to the Urge Within. It's on the Island label from 1986. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know whether I keep it or not. Then more famous jazz musician, we have JeanLuc Ponti, Aurora from 1976 on Atlantic. This is my first album with JeanLuc Ponti, so I look forward to listening to this, although I'm quite familiar with his music, so no reason why I haven't had any of it. So I found this for almost nothing. Jonas Sublime Media has showed an album with Nani Porres, a Swedish singer, and this is another album of hers that I just bought for almost nothing. It's my first album with Nani Porres, but I've been quite aware of her for a long time. She was quite a lot of her on television when I was a kid, so I remember her well, and she has a good voice, not fantastic but good. This is Nani Porres sings Lars Gullin. Lars Gullin, Swedish jazz saxophone player, died too early in 1976, and on this album Nani Porres is joined lots of great jazz musicians. Well, most famous is probably Bernd Rosengren, but also Maffa Falai, Lars Sjösten. Let's see now. Yeah, Dave Castle. Also, Lars Gullin's son, Peter Gullin, plays on this one. Right, a Blue Note album. Well, and that's not from the great Blue Note era, but still. The New Heritage Keyboard Quartet. It's from 1973, when Blue Note was cooperating with United Artists. A compilation with the Moody Blues, Voices in the Sky. When I tried to find information about this Decca issue from 1984, I didn't. The images of this issue was showed a different sleeve. So this is, I don't know if it's a later pressing or just a sleeve variation. It's a British pressing anyway. Oh yeah, and an upgrade on my Elvis Presley Portrait in Music. This was a issue that was well, I grew up with this one. It was part of my mother's collection, and I got my own copy some years ago, but that was quite worn. So this is mainly an upgrade. It's a great, I mean, we got Hound Dog, Jailhouse Rock, Big Hunk of Love, A Fool Such as I, Wooden Heart, Are You Lonesome Tonight, It's Now or Never, Kiss Me Quick, Good Luck Charm, You're the Devil in Disguise, Guitar Man, and US Mail. I mean, a great spectre from his whole career as a singer. Yeah, I can tell if someone say this is not, well, it's It's autographed, but it's printed on the sleeve, so it's nothing really special, nothing to get too excited about. So, right, this guy has worked with many good and great artists. Jim Price, well, among others, Delaney and Bonnie. And he's joined here by Nicky Hopkins and Klaus Voormann and Jim Keltner. He's worked, I think he's worked with Rolling Stones too. Jim Price, Kids Nowadays Ain't Got No Shame. It's an A&M issue from 1971. Then we have this rather 80s looking compilation album with Eddie Cochran. Come On Everybody. On the Fun label. It's a Belgian issue, and I don't know whether it's good or whether it's crap. Some of those reissues that look a bit like this tend to sound a bit bad. And I also don't know how good I think it fits with the music with this. Well, but I paid almost nothing for it, so if it's a miss, then no problem. Great Swedish jazz singer Claus Johnson, his first solo album, Frestelser, on the Caprice label. Caprice Records was is a department of the Swedish National Concert Institute in Stockholm. So often very good recordings on that label. And Claus Johnson, I've talked about him before in my channel. Great singer. He's influenced by many great singers, but it's Ray Charles is probably, I mean, we can't compare him, nobody can be compared to Ray Charles, not even Rich Emanuel of the band, but still he's in the same vein, although of course he is a great voice as himself. He's not a Ray Charles wannabe or Ray Charles sound-alike, but he's in the same style, and I like his voice very much, especially when he sings in Swedish, which he does on this great album. Right, and finally, the greatest surprise. I bought this on a whim. I didn't know anything about it. I'm interested in African music, but I hadn't heard this singer, Letta Mbulu. Naturally, it's an issue on fantasy from 1973, with guest artists Julian Cannonball Adderley and Nat Adderley. So that's interesting. And when I listened to this, I got so happy. So good music. How really, yeah. I smiled all the way through this album. It's really good. Great surprise, and I have to find more records with this great singer, Letta Mbulu. Well, finally, well, these last couple of weeks, or last week, the whole apartment has been filled with Christmas decorations. I am not the one who has been putting them up, but I like it. It's very nice. It's cozy, and I like the feeling of it. I may pick up some different Christmas music later when we get closer to that. Those days when I also have my Christmas and New Year's break. It's my last day at work before that break is December 20th, so not that long to go now. But I can show you my Christmas decoration. It's my USB Christmas tree that I got by the side of the computer. Don't know how well it shows on the camera, but quite nice to have. Right, thanks for watching, and hope this video works better than the last one.